All right, joining us now is Dan Perry, former Europe, Africa, and Middle East editor for the Associated Press. It is just hard to put yourself in the shoes of those who are living in Israel amidst the fear. You heard that man a moment ago saying he's out of tears and cannot wake up from this nightmare. Give me your assessment of the danger right now in Israel, and as Netanyahu says, fighting a war on 7 fronts now.
Yeah, look, it's been a terrible year, one that has brought not just loss of life, but just psychological harm as well, economic devastation. Israel's world standing has taken a beating because of what went on in Gaza. 60,000 people displaced in the north, a similar number in the south. I also think it would be remiss not to remember that many thousands of Palestinians, innocent Palestinians, in addition to maybe 15,000 Hamas militants, have also been killed in Gaza. So this has been truly the year from hell. And so this is the day Israelis mark it. There is some trepidation about terrorist groups, using it for an anniversary attack. And, just now I got back from the shelter because there was a surface-to-surface missile from Yemen, one of the 7 fronts. So it's an extremely dangerous and combustible situation. But I think there's also reason to hope that this period will end and maybe good things will come out of it. Remember, just like COVID accelerated, video conferences that have made the economy more efficient, World War II, for all its horrors, brought about the United Nations and the global institutions that kept the peace. There is a sense that maybe a calamity as monumental as this past year has been might focus the minds of players in the region on how business as usual cannot continue. And perhaps out of that might come a correction.
Yeah, maybe there is a light at the end of this tunnel. It begins with a ceasefire. Where do talks stand right now as we see fighting every day?
Well, in Gaza, talks stand nowhere because we have an impasse. I think whatever Israel might have at one point offered or not offered, and there's a debate about this, it just doesn't compute for Israel very easily to do a deal where they get the hostages but leave Hamas in power in Gaza. Too many people in the country think that would be snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. And does that mean you abandon the hostages? They won't say these words, but to a degree, that's the implication. And it really is quite terrible. Many people think they should bite the bullet, call it a day, cut their losses, declare victory, and do the deal. And because Hamas in its DNA is a terrorist group, they're going to provoke them tomorrow as well, and then they can go in and finish the job. The talks themselves seem to be frozen. Part of the calculation appears to be the U.S. election. The U.S. just wants peace and quiet as much as possible, which isn't really happening. And until that election, and perhaps freed of political calculations and constraints, the new administration, or even the Biden-Harris administration on November 6th, might become more proactive. On the Lebanon front, I can be a little bit more optimistic. Unlike the Gaza front, where Hamas, of course, is diabolical and should be eradicated, but the Israel-Palestinian conflict is complex and has moral ambiguity. In the north, there was no such thing. Israel is 100% right. Hezbollah's presence, having taken over Lebanon and creating mayhem at the behest of Iran, it was never acceptable. Lebanon itself didn't want this. It would be the greatest favor to the people of Lebanon if Israel degraded Hezbollah to the point where UN Security Council resolutions calling for Lebanon to control its own territory are implementable. And just today, you heard the interim prime minister in Lebanon making noises in that direction, saying those Security Council resolutions should be implemented. So in a way, if that happens, most Lebanese I know will be happy, and they have to thank the stupidity of Hassan Nasrallah, leader of Hezbollah, who decided to try to pile on Israel. Israel took it for about 10, 11 months until they ran out of patience. And there, in the Lebanese arena, it looks like they're being somewhat successful.
Dan Perry, as always, we've talked to you many times over the last year. Your expertise is greatly appreciated here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mark.